Hello humans of the internet, my name is Iceberg Lettuce, and today we are here in Minecraft Snapshot 20W45A, the very first snapshot for Minecraft 1.17, which just dropped yesterday. And obviously when this came out I did a video about it, but when I do those snapshot videos, I usually just talk about general things like, the big changes and additions, just to sort of, make it quickly and get that information out. But I thought it might be a good idea to go a little bit more in-depth in a separate video, talk about some of the more nuanced things that have been changed and added in this version. And so I thought I'd go through and answer 10 questions that you might have been having about the Minecraft 1.17 update. So let's get started. Let's get started on that. Alright, so the first question I want to answer is, which blocks can be pushed and pulled using pistons? So this is a normal amethyst block, nothing special here, it can just be pushed and pulled. This is a budding amethyst block, one of the blocks that creates more amethyst, and this one cannot be mined or silk touched or anything, so obviously when you try to push it with a piston, it will just break and will not drop anything. This here is a regular copper block. You can push it and pull it, nothing super interesting there. This works the same with any other type of copper block. And this is a waxed copper block, and this also works the same way. You can push it and pull that. This is the candles, obviously, and if we try to push those, you'll see that they all just pop off and drop to the ground, so can't push or pull those. This is a lightning rod, and that one can be pushed and pulled. And then the rest of these, you can probably guess how this is going to go. Tuff can be pushed and pulled, calcite can be pushed and pulled, same thing with copper ore and the new tinted glass. Alright, question number 2. This one's pretty interesting. What happens when you try to push some of the budding amethysts or the amethyst cluster? So I did not expect this when I tried to test this out for the first time, but you can actually push and pull all of these crystals. And what's really interesting here is that if you try to push an amethyst cluster on top of a block without a solid face, it will break, but it will also drop amethyst shards. And this is really interesting because normally to get amethyst shards, you need to use at least an iron pickaxe. You can't use a stone or a wooden pickaxe. So it's very strange to me that you are able to just push it off of the block that it's on and it will still drop crystals. I'm assuming that's a mistake and they're probably going to change that, but for now that's the way it works, and I think that's pretty interesting. Alright, question number 3. Which blocks require what tools and which blocks require silk touch? So this is a normal amethyst block. It requires an iron pickaxe or it won't drop, but it does not require silk touch. The copper block, interestingly, requires at least a stone pickaxe. A wooden pickaxe will not work, but it does not require silk touch either. The candles don't need silk touch or any specific tool. The lightning rod requires any type of pickaxe and doesn't require silk touch. Same thing with the new tuff and calcite. The copper ore requires at least a stone pickaxe to be mined, and interestingly, this new tinted glass does not require any tool at all, and it does not require silk touch to be mined, so this one you can just break it with your hand and it will still drop. These new amethyst clusters, yeah, these are the clusters, the big ones, need at least an iron pickaxe and do require silk touch, because if you break them without silk touch, they will just drop some shards. These ones, the budding amethyst, require any type of pickaxe, or else it'll be really slow when you try to break them, but there is no way to obtain them even if you have silk touch, so there's no real point in using silk touch on this, it's not going to drop anyway. Same thing with the budding amethyst block, there's no way to obtain this one. Question number 4. What happens when you try to use fortune on the amethyst clusters? So if you just use a normal iron pickaxe, you will get 4 shards every single time. If you use fortune 1, when I tested this out, on average I got 4.5 shards for every crystal that I mined. With fortune 2, I got 5.5 shards, and fortune 3 was a big jump up to 10 shards per cluster. Alright, next up is question number 5. Which blocks can be uncrafted? So we have 3 things to test here: regular copper, waxed copper, and blocks of amethyst. Regular copper can be uncrafted. This is just a storage block for copper. Waxed copper cannot be uncrafted, and neither can the block of amethyst. Next up is question number 6, which is, can candles float? And the answer is yes. That's not super exciting, but they can float. There you go. Next up, question number 7. What functionality with the hopper does the bundle have? And the answer is none, apparently, right now. Trying to put a hopper above a bundle or anything like that doesn't really do anything at the moment, although in interviews, developers have mentioned that they want to add some hopper functionality to the bundle, but I think we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. Next up is question number 8. Which amethyst blocks make a sound when hit with a projectile? And the answer is all of the different types of budding amethyst and amethyst clusters, both types of amethyst blocks, but not the tinted glass. The reason I include tinted glass here is just because it's crafted with amethyst, but it's not really surprising that this one doesn't work. Next up is question number 9. What happens when you go into F5 mode while using a spyglass? And the answer is you can see that your skin is holding up the spyglass to their face, which is a totally new animation. I was not expecting this in the slightest. And then question number 10 is what happens when we break an amethyst cluster using TNT? And the answer to that question, as you'll see in just a second, is that obviously it breaks, but also that the shards drop, which is very interesting, again, considering that you're supposed to get this by mining it with an iron pickaxe. So that was 10 questions that I had about Minecraft 1.17 answered, but do you have any questions that you want answered? Leave some suggestions down in the comments, and maybe I'll make a part 2 or something to this video if people like it. Anyway, that's all I have for today, so thanks for watching, and see you next time, everybody. Bye!